This podcast is brought to you by
Sri Kandi Associates. Looking for your first matrimonial house? Planning to upgrade? Look no further.
For your property matters, contact Sri Kandi Associates at 8788-3559.
And don't forget to follow them on Instagram at srikandi.associates.
Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises. Hey, welcome back to another episode of OUTSIDEIN with your host Yanto,
Farah, your go-to source for honest conversations about relationships and marriage.
So if you are ready, let's go.
Yes. Alhamdulillah, lately I feel like we have been getting amazing guests, and today is no different.
Order.
Oh, tiba. Alhamdulillah, we have been getting more professionals on board.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
And this is also to, value add to you listeners out there, so you can have, different perspective lah, professional point of view. Maybe you need it, in your life. You can approach. Yeah. Okay.
Tapi kalau nak beli rumah, approach Sri Kandi Associates. Macam gitu.
But for today, our guest ni siapa?
Kan. Tadi ada buat tu dah.
Order.
Okay. Tapi dia bukan judge.
Yes, she is a lawyer with 10 years experience, everybody. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest, Shehzadee.
Bermusika ya. Assalamualaikum. Can I just call you Shez?
Yes.
How are you today?
Dia punya Shehzadee ni nama dia nama betul bukan nama glamour tau. Nama betul ni. Yes.
Maybe you can introduce a bit of yourself to our listeners.
Thank you for having me. I'm Shehzadee. I'm a litigation lawyer. Litigation lawyer means I go to court. So I practice a few areas of law, Sharia law, family law, criminal law, civil law. So civil law would comprise a range of matters from defamation to breach of contract, those kind of things. Wow. I also do inheritance matters as well, like drafting of wills, probate matters.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's quite a huge range.
A huge spectrum from the criminal to legacy planning.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
So 10 years of experience. How did you get into, law? Did you always want to become a lawyer?
No.
Ayah nak jadi lawyer dulu, tak jadi lawyer tau.
I was always a math science student.
Oh, beza.
Yeah.
There's a lot of difference.
Yes. So I never imagined myself going to law lah. But things happen, and looking back, I don't think I would have it any other way lah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
So I'm now running my own practice, Shehzadee Law Corporation.
As a lawyer ni, you have to fight for your client, right? You have to order.
No, objection.
Objection. Order.
Wait. Do you really say objection in court?
I do during trial, but it's not in the manner that you see on TV.
Right.
Okay, it's not an episode from Suits. It's not as interesting.
Okay.
I would say, by and large, litigators are quite well behaved in Singapore courts. Okay, so you don't see all the drama, the theatrics. Largely, you don't really see that. But of course, objections, we do object, but not in such an aggressive manner lah.
Objection.
Lawyer, he's apa? I forget the term there.
Sudah lah, nanti rerun lah Suits tu.
Yeah, I think I need to do a rerun on Suits. Yeah.
Tak, I nak tanya.
Yes.
Because lawyers are macam argumentative, right? Kira lah. Macam people think that lawyers are argumentative. Do your husband think that you are argumentative at home?
Wow.
Should we call him on?
Hi, we would like to speak to you.
I think any occupation, definitely there'll be a bit of spillover lah. Occupational hazards lah, for sure. Okay, so if I were to think about how it spills over, in terms of the argumentativeness, I think I tend to think things through, so I'm like listing down. Okay, this is what you said. This is what you said.
Seram juga ni.
So I do that. That's an occupational hazard, and my husband has always, not always, but sometimes he said like, I'm not a client, you're cross-examining. I'm not a party, you're cross-examining. So I need to remember that, consciously remember that. But it's not always in the bad way, because I think as a lawyer, particularly a litigator, someone who has represented many clients lah, and in different fields, in Sharia divorce, in criminal matters, in civil, where you deal with companies, whether construction companies or different types of companies, life, that I think in normal circumstances, in social settings, I may not meet these groups of people. So it does broaden my horizons. It does give me perspective that I otherwise would not. And then I take it with me, and it frames how I interact with my own family members, and how it shapes my relationship with them. So for example, let's say for divorce cases also, right? When I represent both husbands and wives, right? And of course, there's been hundreds of cases, right? And then you kind of see the dynamics of the marriage, how it breaks down, and it makes you think for yourself. Like sometimes I'm like looking and let's say I'm representing a husband and he's telling me about certain things about the wife. So I'm like, ini aku ke?
Macam you kind of feel like relatable in a sense.
You reflect.
Yeah, I mean like you reflect about it at the end, and then like you learn, you take lessons also. So I've met like some women who are undergoing divorce, and they, for example, the husband has long abandoned them. They are, even though not officially divorced yet in the course of the divorce proceedings, but they are basically a single mother, raising many children. And then you meet these people and you learn like, wow, these are real rock stars, you know. They are really like the way their tenacity, you know, wake up at 4 a.m. to cook for their children, send them to school, do this. And then when you meet with people, you kind of
take inspiration.
Yeah, you take inspiration, and then the energy also, right? So these are things that I keep with me, and I think that it does shape how I view things after that.
Yes, I understand.
For us as well, because when we interview different couples, you know, we hear their stories, we hear their sometimes sorrow, sometimes happiness, and then we see, oh, these are the things that we do not want to happen to our own family in a sense. So we take that and then we're like, okay,
take them as lessons.
Yeah, at first, of course, after the recording, we'll be like, oh no, kasihannya, you know, we start to like feel emotional, but then we think it makes us reflect as well. So in a sense, it shapes us. I would say not really influence, but rather we take what we need to do to improve our relationship in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it also provides like perspective. So I can give you an example. When I was a very young lawyer, many years ago, not young, like young lawyer.
Young lawyer.
I represented this boy. I say boy because he was under the age of 21. It was a drug offence. I think, if I remember correctly, it was drug consumption and drug trafficking.
Okay.
So for his hearing, before his hearing, I asked him, I said, who's going to be coming to court to be there? You know, are your family members coming? And he said, no, maybe my grandmother, but she's not well. So I said, where are your parents? Both my parents inside.
Oh dear. Okay.
And then I said, okay. I said, do you have any other family members? No, just my grandmother and my younger siblings. You know, and that really, really hit me because I'm like, wow, okay, you got into this life. Who am I? You know, who is society to kind of judge you? Yes, no doubt you made a mistake, right?
A crime is a crime.
A crime is a crime.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not that simple to just label and just say that you should have known better. You know, because of the circumstances. I would imagine that he said, throughout my life, my parents have been going in and out for drugs, drug offences. So that's all you've ever known, right?
Yeah.
That's a life that's the only life you've known.
To him,
right?
it's like a norm, right?
Yeah, that's, you know, and he says that, okay, my parents are inside, I need money. So I think he was also involved in a bit of drug trafficking as well. And it made me think, I felt so sad when I went home after that. I was like, we don't realize it. I mean, many of us who are privileged, not privileged in terms of material, but material wants or wealth, but privileged in that we have families who are intact, who support, right? Yep. And that, you know, these kind of things, it really broadened my perspective because that I was a young lawyer then, and throughout, I would say that I lived a relatively sheltered life. The usual with your parents are around, parents are supportive. So yeah, it's a matter of perspective lah.
In a sense also, I think where you're coming from in terms of the sheltered life also, it is something yang I feel that sometimes media doesn't really show the dark side of the society, like the real cases of the drug offenders, the ones that have broken families and things like that. So in a sense, I think I can safely say that she also comes from a very sheltered family.
Yeah, I can relate to what you
like
said.
certain things that you have mentioned, probably she also be like, oh yeah, after only hearing through like stories, only then she understands that okay, society isn't as pretty as it seems to be because of how sheltered you are probably. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. It's like, it's the same. I came from a very sheltered family, so it kind of shaped my perception. And then it was only after I got older, the more people I meet, and alhamdulillah through the podcast also, right, it kind of opened up my eyes to see from different perspective. It's like whatever I think might be right or what you should do doesn't mean that I cannot force it upon others because we all have different circumstances. I
mean, just a bit of backstory. I served my national service in police. So when I was a police officer, I saw like different types of cases as well. And some of them are really like what you mentioned. They didn't know how to break out of that cycle that they are in. So it is sad. Certain times you see things like, if only if he was born in a different family. Probably he wouldn't turn out this way.
Likewise, it makes us think, if I had been born in those circumstances, would I be the person I am today? I might even be dead from drug overdose. I do not know, right? So it has a way of actually humbling you, getting to meet all these people. So to answer your question as to how much of the overlap, I would say overlap it will definitely be a part of you because as a lawyer, I think any lawyer will agree with you that it's just impossible to separate. It becomes part of you. But I would say, I honestly feel that it has made me widen my perspective and made me hopefully a better person.
So in your experience of dealing with youth crimes, right? Has it ever made you concerned for the
future generation?
Future generation, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I've had these conversations with my peers. I've had this conversation with my husband. And I think across the board, we would, even those without legal knowledge, would realize that, you have social media now, right? It's just so, it becomes really part of you already. It's so difficult to separate a person's identity from social media, right? And that's something that for sure, our children will, now AI is part of schools, right? Learning how to use all this technology.
ChatGPT, oh my god.
Right. So it's encouraged. Not to say it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But it means that we have to be more careful in how we educate our children. We cannot say that we don't know because know because our children need to know.
They will be asking parents like, what about this, what about that? Then if we don't know, they say, go and Google lah. Then later the reliance on the child towards the objects rather than the parents will be affected. Then like, my mom don't know anything, my father don't know anything. Then later, relationship akan tegang.
So today we have a lawyer, right? Because we were discussing macam what should we talk about. Of course, in our podcast ni about marriage, right? I think the first thing that came to our mind is, of course, divorce cases, right? But we thought, how can we, come up with something different? So, of course, in a marriage, after a few years, insyaAllah, kalau dikurniakan rezeki, you will have kids. Then you will embark on a journey of being a parent, right? So, there is another part of your journey. So, the prevalent thing right now is, like we just discussed, is youth crime. It's a very interesting and scary generation and era that we have to raise our kids in this kind of social media. It's so easy to access dark things on the web
Dark web,
and things like that.
Yeah.
As parents, right, I feel like it's our responsibility also to be informed of what is going on. Especially you have to ambil tahu lah about like what your kids are doing and things like that, right? What kind of circle are they influenced with? What kind of shows they are watching? So in your experience, right, what are some of the youth crimes that you have handled before?
If you can share.
Sure.
Selling solutions, not promises.
Hello, I'm Ira from Sri Kandi Associates. Do you know that after the completion of your sale, you are no longer the legal owner of the place? However, you have the option to stay for up to 3 months rent-free in the place. This is so that you can do the what's not like renovation at your new place before the big move. To know more, you can contact Sri Kandi Associates at 8788-3559. Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises.
Okay, so I would categorize them. There are a few categories, okay?
Okay.
The first is what I call the fast cash category.
Fast cash.
Fast cash, eh?
Fast cash.
Okay, youth nowadays, not to say our generation is the model generation, actually it is.
I like that.
But I think youth nowadays, they have different expectations because parents are more affluent. They are more used to a certain degree of comfort in general, right? And a certain lifestyle. So they tend to lean towards, not all, but some youths tend to be inclined towards engaging in activities which have quick returns, right? Okay, so for example, under the Money Lenders Act, okay, there's a provision for harassment. Okay, let me explain. And I see a lot of youths, they commit offences under this section. And what are these offences? Very simply, okay, you have the alongs lah, okay, lend money, splash paints, yes, all the runners, okay. And who do they get as these runners? These youths, right? Okay, you just message them and just say, okay, you just write, money, pay money, use one marker, take picture, I pay you $300.
Oh, fast cash.
Fast cash, what? Right? Or they can just say, okay, for example, don't worry, it's not illegal. I've seen this before, the person lah. Of course, you wouldn't know his name, Along ke, Atan ke, it's just like with some random name. Okay. We'll just contact all these youth online, on Telegram or whatever, say, I have a job, you want a job? Okay, then later on they say, don't worry, it's not illegal, I just need you to be a lookout. You don't even have to do anything. So these youths, I don't know, some of them may not be so aware. In their mind, they're like, okay lah, I'm not doing anything. I just stand by only, tell them if anybody's coming, I'm at the stairs. But you're also part of it. You are abetting. Abetting means you are actually part of the act lah, right? And then you get
cash.
You get cash. Or
Just for
you get
being on the
caught.
lookout.
That's what's being promised lah.
Right.
Many times, and I've seen youths also who haven't even finished the act.
The lookout.
Somebody kena tangkap. They don't even get the $300. Is it worth it or not?
Not worth it, my brother, sister.
Yeah, so this is one of the fast cash one lah, which is the harassment punya under the Money Lenders Act lah.
Okay.
And then the other one is scams. I think now I also recently shared on Instagram that now the law has adopted a harsher stance towards scams. Okay. So it used to be the case that you are a very willing participant in a scam. That means you are the scammer lah, right? Then you get punished lah, right?
Yeah.
But now it's also the case that if a reasonable person would know it's a scam, but you
Still go and
you just do it. So for example, let's say I get a message and say, congrats, you are a winner of a $50,000 cash, okay? Click on this link and put in your SingPass and all to retrieve your gift, right? If you get so excited, 50,000, especially you ski, so much money. you don't really apply your mind to it, you could also be, because right now, I think the reason for this harsher stance is because last time a lot of people just say, oh, I don't know, right?
Because it wasn't
I'm a
really
victim also, I don't know, right? So that's why it's like, especially because, so for example, if you disclose your SingPass details, it's a crime. You cannot.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you cannot disclose your SingPass details to unauthorized parties. You can't, because it's a matter of national security. What your own, right?
Okay.
You cannot do that. So like, even this is not just youth lah, but like your old,
the elderly
and all. Yeah. So I think this is something they should be more vigilant about lah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is the
I
kind of
didn't know that because I thought sometimes I press and then SingPass, then it's like, oh, it's just a to some of us, like even to me, I felt that okay, yeah, SingPass has our NRIC and all the details. I thought it's just like, okay, to give the permission to access our information, but I didn't know that giving this to unauthorized people can lead to us
especially
also.
because you are disclosing a personal bit of information, and it's worse if, like I said, back to the fast cash one. So if you have, I always see this on, I mean, in my experience, this
Job hunter.
Not job hunters. Yeah. They were proposed on, usually it's Telegram.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, I have a job. I don't know why the number is always $300. It's always 200, 300. But like, okay, you if you sell me your SingPass details, give you $300. So these youths, by the way, you are allowed to have a SingPass account from 15 years and above, right?
Bila IC dah
dapat, yeah. So I mean, the youths, they tend to be inclined towards me. Wow, I just give my IC, I just give that one, only $300. Okay lah, right?
Beli Roblox.
So that's the first category of youth crimes that I say, the fast cash lah. So parents should be very vigilant also. Tell their children that you should refrain from anything which sounds too good to be true lah, right? And I think for this also, to have open communication with the children, because if the children are so scared to even ask you for anything, they may look to other sources, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine kalau dia dengan kawan dia dua-dua macam, if we both get message, 300 we can buy PlayStation 5. They don't know. They might not know because they don't have anyone to turn to.
Correct.
Yeah, and then if let's say they don't have the access to, or rather the knowledge that certain things are too good to be true. Like to them it's like, oh, this is too good, but to be true part is like everything is true to them. I mean, because they don't know about it. Right. So, and that's how scams work in the first place.
Yes, that's right.
Because of the lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. So
that's right.
For children who has this little device at the age of very young age, dah ada benda ni. So if you are giving them such a device, please parents, please pantau what they are using.
Be very, very vigilant. I mean, not to overly control your children, but you really have to be very mindful and be and observe what your children do. Not just leave them to their own devices. Literally their own devices.
They want to install any app also, you need to ask permission.
Correct. So that's the first category.
What about the second one?
The second one, sexual offences. Yeah, sexual offences. Okay, so when you say sexual offences involving minors, right? People's head, they always think of this old uncle preying on a young child, right? Or someone grooming over the internet.
Sexual grooming.
Right? But the truth is, okay, I quiz you all.
Okay.
What's the legal age to have sex in Singapore?
18.
21, I don't know.
Final answer? What's your answer?
Final answer.
I don't know, I say 21. I don't know, I'm just taking a guess.
21
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder how many people would have gone in with 21.
How many people go to jail already under 21?
Okay, the answer is 16
Oh, 16.
16 in Singapore, okay? Tapi, 16 if you have sex with someone below the age of 16, yes, that's right. Okay, you are in trouble with the law lah. If you are, especially below 14 is worse. Okay. So But the law is just, in addition to that, even though 16 is the legal age, if you have sex with someone and you pay, that means commercial,
like prostitution.
In a way,
sounds
they
like
call
it.
it commercial sex.
Okay.
So commercial sex with a minor, then the age is not 16, it's 18. If there's money transaction. Okay.
Okay.
So back to it involving minors. So, like I said, you have that old uncle
prey on the young
preying,
girl.
grooming,
Okay.
right? But the reality is nowadays children or youths, they are very much more informed. And I do see them being...
Because of this.
a lot of them are more sexually active than you would think lah, and than before, right?
Okay.
So you may have a case where you have a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl. Okay, both cakap they are in love
In
lah. I
love.
say open in close inverted comma lah, love lah tu.
What is love when you're at that age, guys?
Okay, so they engage in sexual relations. Okay, if somehow something happens, somebody makes a report, this boy, he's in trouble with the law because he has engaged in sexual relations with a girl below the age of 16.
Even if he's of the
Even
same
though
age.
he's of the same age, even though he himself is below the age of 16, even though the girl consents to it, it's not like he's forcing,
Yeah.
even if the girl initiates it, but he eventually, right? So this is something I think it's very, very important. I mean, as parents, especially Muslim parents, it's not just about telling them in terms of the religion perspective of it. Also tell them, in
It's
terms of
by law.
the law about it, you
No, can scare them. You want go jail lah? You want go jail? Say ah.
okay, I will go to the sentencing part in a while, okay?
Okay.
Like as in whether go to jail or not.
Okay.
So that's sexual offences involving minors.
Wow.
So that's two.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
the
two.
third category.
Scary. Baru dua aku dah menggeletar, guys. Okay.
You see, this is the occupational hazard. Kena list out. I take you back to the point.
Okay.
Okay, so the third one is what I would term antisocial kind of offences lah. Antisocial behaviour. Okay, so for example, unlawful assembly, rioting. Okay, gang-related activities, a lot of them. Okay, so what I have seen is these youths, they are involved in certain gangs. Okay, very common. This one very common. Then somebody message in the group, hey, I want to have a settlement talk with somebody else. The settlement talk lah. Okay.
Satu batang.
I can tell you these settlement talks usually revolve around a certain few issues. Number one, staring,
Okay.
accidental bumping, or sometimes relationship issues, boy girl. Okay, these are the common themes lah. Okay, I want to meet. We meet this person from this other gang. Aku nak settle je. Okay, you all come just as to make up the numbers lah. Standby. You here is this you say thinking that macam hero lah. I just want to go and just
Protect
be
my
there.
brother kan?
Together lah. Go down to this place. Sekali one person bawa knife, slash. Something happens. Okay. Now somebody calls the police. Semua kena.
Yeah.
Right? And all of them get charged under say it's causing grievous hurt.
Okay.
Common intention to cause grievous hurt. Common lah. Because everybody's there. It's deemed that everybody knew about it. So then it's a matter of proving,
Whether you know.
your intention and also. I mean, these are things you can avoid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, these are youth, like I would say, antisocial kind of behavior, and then of course there's vandalism and all that. But yeah. So these are some examples, which is why it is so important for parents to also help your children filter out who their friends are, who their company, the company they keep, because that is so important. The friends can really, it just takes one friend to just pull you in something and
Yeah. So the best, right, to have gamer friends.
Eh?
Stay at home,
Video
play
game.
game. And most also you ask mama, $10 please, I want to buy credit. Better than you go out kena slash.
Ooh,
In
but
a
it's
sense.
very scary to think of these young children being involved in such, crime essentially.
I feel okay. Talking about gangsterism and talking specifically about gangsterism, this really like predates even my parents' time.
Yeah.
Even during my time also, I've seen assemblies, gangster assemblies happening. Some of them to a point that I even saw they practice escaping the law. It was hilarious.
Like as in what? To the escape route, is it?
Yeah, it was hilarious. I was sitting down with my friends eating at a fast food restaurant. Then we know who they are because they announced to us, "You don't play with me. I from here one." I said, "Okay, I don't touch you, you don't touch me lah." So one day I saw them assembling together. Then we heard 1, 2, 3. Everyone just what is happening? They were literally practicing escaping. Apa lah budak-budak ni? But at that point in time, I was finding it like hilarious. But now thinking back,
if it was your child,
Yeah, if it was
participating in
your
that.
child participating in that, is really a
Yes.
terrifying thought, right?
betul.
Yeah, and it's not just anyway you were saying about online thing.
Oh,
Doesn't mean that there are still the pitfalls and you can commit crimes online, right?
Yes.
So category number 4.
Oh wow, that's a good
there we
segue
go.
there.
Okay, so defamation. Okay, so defamation, it can be a civil matter, meaning I'm party A, I got defamed by party B, so I sue party B. Okay, between individuals or between businesses, right? Or it could also be that the state, that means the prosecutor, the Attorney General Chambers, charge you for committing defamation, and that's under criminal defamation. So defamation can be criminal in nature as well. Okay?
Defamation tu apa? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Buat malu you.
Buat malu.
Bring down your name.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Understand.
So you are lowering I'm not going to quote the legal
Law.
definition, okay? But basically you are putting down the reputation. So you are lowering somebody's reputation in the eyes of the public lah.
I mean
Okay?
now in the
Social media
social media,
world.
Social
world.
media,
Very
yes.
prevalent.
Okay.
Correct. So now, nowadays, people are more emboldened, right? To you can just hit and run and then fake accounts and all that,
Keyboard
right?
warriors
Keyboard
lah.
warriors, you troll people online, and you feel that you are invincible. Nobody knows who I am. I'm just a faceless profile.
Yeah.
A faceless profile. But if you get charged somehow with criminal defamation, or even if somebody sues you for defamation, these are things that for criminal defamation especially, the police, the authorities have the resources to track the IP address. So if you think you're so smart, you're not so smart.
Guys, Singapore is very advanced in terms of that. Okay, I've seen it.
I think do you remember? I think Ernie Zakri was the one who shared yang there's this anonymous account, macam troll account lah, saying macam commenting super harsh things about her, and then
They managed
only
to
to
find
find out that the one that is posting all this is a 16-year-old kid.
Is
Yeah,
it?
they managed to
There
find.
you go.
Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
this is something that you have to warn your children about. If they think that, I
They
can
can
get
escape.
away with
This is
this because
punishable by law lah.
yeah, it
Youth
is.
crime,
It is.
If
play
I
yeah.
know for sure if let's say it's like the client to client defamation is money involvement and settlement, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's more of so let's say this is not under crimes per se, but for defamation, let's say party A defames party B, and defame doesn't just mean that you say something bad. There's the intention part of it and all that, right? So let's say I give you an example of a defamatory statement. And defamation may not be direct, it can be indirect also. Okay? So if I don't name you, but I say something about you and it's so clear that it's you, right? That also constitutes defamation. So don't think that you're so smart by like saying, I never name what, right? So that's one. And secondly, defamation, it doesn't have to be, okay, that's a legal defamation. I'm trying to think how to simplify it. Okay, so if you can say things directly which are obviously very defamatory. So for example, if I say, you're a thief, I know that you're a thief, you have a history of stealing, for example. Okay, and that's not true, right? that is defamation. It's very clear cut lah. But if example, it can also be defamation if they call it by innuendo. That means not direct, like a certain select group with a certain knowledge of some facts would find it would perceive it as a certain way. Yeah. Okay. So example, let's say I say, hey bro, I see you at Lorong so and so Geylang every Friday night. Power are you? For example.
Okay.
On the face of it, I see you at this place. What's wrong with that? Nothing. What? But when you know the circumstances of what you are trying to say, right? And I say it like, let's say, such that other people hear it. It's not just between two people. Other people hear it. And defamation, I mean, if it's online, lagi lah, more people see, right?
Yeah, it's there to see.
Correct. Then that's also defamatory. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Especially if it's not true lah. Okay. There's the defense to defamation, but I won't go into that lah.
Yeah.
Right
Nak
now.
tahu lebih, contact lah Shehzadee Law.
But I think these are the things that we think macam alah ni benda kecil actually.
Yeah.
But actually it's
if it affects someone's feelings or image,
especially businesses lah.
businesses.
Yeah, so like, I mean, it's fair to say that you are entitled to your opinion online, right?
Yeah.
But there is you have to make sure that it doesn't exceed the bounds such that it goes into the realm of defamation lah.
Right.
That's why you have seen businesses. I think you have seen in papers these businesses like trying to take legal action against those who have defamed them and all. Yeah.
Makes me want to ask something about the recent Ramadan episode.
What?
The Ramadan video.
Okay.
But I think I shouldn't ask it on air lah. So I'll ask it off cast lah. Because it was such a big issue. But let's leave it after this lah. So too bad korang. I'm going to discuss with Shiz after this. So kalau tak dengar, kau nak tahu lebih, subscribe. Macam gitu.
But I think these are the things that we, as parents especially, we need to be aware of this. Because
Ada lagi tak?
oh yeah, is there any other
Oh
categories?
yeah. For now, I can think of these four.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
But this 4 is really, even as adults, I see it as, especially the first 2 one
Okay,
is
recap Number 1,
fast cash.
fast cash. Okay, number 2, come I test you.
Yeah, dia tulis tadi.
Sexual offences.
Sexual
Number 3, antisocial
gang-related activities.
Number 4, defamation.
Yeah.
Okay, so it really shows that, you know, we all have been used before. Kita semua pernah budak-budak. And these 4 things, probably you have heard it, seen it. You know, things are, especially now with social media, everything is in the palm of our hands. We've seen videos of gang fights, especially, you know, the recent video they posted in some of the college, and they whack the fella and things like that. And then there's a lot of that cannot speak enough of defamation, which is all you guys yang kita nampak, all the fake accounts, all the troll accounts.
Speaking of defamation, just fun fact for you.
Yes.
If you publish a defamatory statement made by somebody else, you are also liable.
Abetment.
Okay, you are also liable for defamation. So, for example, I republish some. Let's say I share a post which is like very, very blatantly defamatory.
Yeah.
I'm also under the law lah. Whether or not anybody sues me, that's a different matter lah. But actually, republication. So it used to be the fact that republication only concern those major newspapers last time, because that's how publications are, right?
Yeah.
But now people just share.
Yeah,
That is a
repost
publication,
button.
Yeah.
That means, for example, I give example, okay?
Yeah.
This place so and so, they'll practice black magic.
Example, yes. Example.
And then they maybe a popular channel posted it. And then you see, do black magic. I repost. Pam, I'm liable also.
And then your friend repost.
Then your friend repost. So all
also.
berdirit semua.
And then
I mean,
friend,
okay.
then I also.
In practice, whether they tend to get the main
The
poster
main, yeah,
lah. But
yeah.
then, you are also exposing yourself to risk also. So the point of this is that fact check lah.
Fact check,
You are
yes.
not sure. It's a virtue to keep silent.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
So, you have handled this kind of cases, right?
Defamation,
Yeah, definitely. All these 4 categories lah.
Yeah.
So, Can you share with us a little bit more how you see in your own eyes, macam how the family of these youth actually get impacted or affected by this, situation?
Or by them getting into trouble with
Yeah.
the law.
Selling solutions, not promises.
Hello, it's Ira again from Sri Kandi Associates. For buyers, do try to be on time for your viewings, and during viewings, try not to make any comments openly, and do try to seek permission from the seller agent in case you would like to view the interiors of any fittings. This may create a good impression towards the seller, and emotionally, the sellers may be more accepting of your offer. To know more, do contact Sri Kandi Associates at 8788-3559. Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises.
Before talking about how the family get impacted, I would talk about what led to the youth commission of these offences.
Alright.
And I can see that the common thread, I'm not saying all, because of course we know there are stellar parents out there whose children just happen to mix with the wrong company. Things happen, okay?
Yep.
Out of the parents' control. But sometimes I do see that the parents are either too busy with work, neglect, not say don't love, no, neglect. And sometimes it's really no fault of the parents. They have quite a number of commitments on their plate, and then somehow this child terkeluar
astray
sikit.
lah.
Yes. Okay. Or it could be that the parents are, like the example I cited, like, totally in and out of prison, not there, right?
Absent parent.
Or it could be that the parents are there, but somehow the parents are physically there, but there's no open channel for communication. So the child is, there's that breach, there's that
Correct. Doesn't feel
fear.
comfortable
You don't
to-
feel comfortable to even ask things,
Correct.
right? To even say, because ask a bit only kena marah, ask a bit only kena marah, right? So rather I ask my friends, right?
Yeah,
And friends, the peers of their age group, how much more do they know? They know than you, right?
Yeah, same.
Right?
Yeah.
Bondol juga, tak lah. Okay, ow.
Yeah, so these are, and of course, lack of education and awareness among the parents as well. So that is very, very key. I think that, and this is a message to all parents, like I'm a parent as well, that we have to be very mindful of our children's interactions with others. Our interactions with the children, we have to maintain an open line of communication so that it's easy for us to educate them, because they'll be more receptive.
Correct.
That, and also, finally, as parents, it's incumbent on us to educate ourselves lah. We cannot say don't know. You don't know, this one, your children times
Also
two don't know.
Yeah.
It really is a cycle,
Betul.
right? Like, because our hashtag, right? You guys should know already.
Break the cycle.
So if based on whatever that Shez have shared also, the fact that people have, if let's say you don't have that communication with your child, for example, it's time for you to ensure it's not too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late. But of course, but the older the child is, when you start to make a difference, start to change something, they will like, asal mak aku macam gini tiba-tiba.
Yeah.
But that's where the challenge comes in lah, as a parent especially, kan, I think.
And for youths who have, back to your question about youths who have how it's impacted the family, I would say that I've seen how it's negatively impacted the family,
Okay.
and I've seen how it's positively impacted the family. And by family, I mean more of parents lah.
Okay.
So negatively in that, I have seen it could be the case that the reason the child turned out that way is because there's some friction between the parents already. There's some tension between the parents, right? And then the child feels very unhappy and then seeks solace elsewhere, right? Outside. So then, because of what happens to the child, even more the parents start blaming each other. Okay, so it escalates. Then the child resent the parents more, the parents resent each other more. It's just
It's a
it just
cycle.
snowballs.
Domino effect.
Yeah,
it's normal.
right. But on the other hand, I have seen parents who have been very they take it as a lesson. They take it in their stride. Okay, like they accept that, okay, we have made this mistake, or this thing has happened for whatever reason. Maybe it's our an error on our part. Maybe it's our child, or maybe both. how can we work together to kind of change
Yeah.
change the dynamics in the
Yeah.
family. And I've seen that as well. So I have had a client, a young child who he mixed with the wrong company. Parents are very, very nice, but I think they were too preoccupied with their own commitments. But later on, they really, really strive to ensure that there was a proper structure in place already. They really cooperated with each other. Like they started monitoring the child's whereabouts with the teachers, that communicated with the teachers.
Because
so it
this
became
happened.
because this happened. And just to go back to that question, one question I didn't answer, which is that what are the sentencing options to youth
Well, I
right?
forgot about that. See the difference, lawyer? Yes.
Okay, so generally the courts and the law, they are more sympathetic towards youth offenders because they feel that the key element is a rehabilitation.
Okay.
Like I think the consensus is that children or youths, they are not if they deviate or if they commit an offence, they are not a lost cause. There's always a chance to rehabilitate them, right? So in most cases, if you are under the age of 21, if you are under the age of 21, you don't have to go to prison. Okay, there's this option called reformative training, RTC. Okay,
RTC.
reformative training center, reformative training. So it's still an environment where these youth offenders have to be inside, but they cannot go out. So it's kind of like a prison in that sense, but the setting or the environment is different because it's more rehabilitative in nature.
Okay.
And then for even younger kids and all that, they are there's the option of probation for them as well. Okay, but it depends on the severity of the offence as well. If drug trafficking and all, I think
It's more
a bit
serious,
harder to get probation. And all.
Wow.
But also, I'm very curious when for example, the child commits one of this crime, right? When they meet you, right? How is their demeanour? Is it they're like
The
macam-
child or the parents?
The child.
The child,
Is
the
it like
offender.
are they very scared or are they macam what? Like that?
Okay, most
of
of
the time.
most of these youths who come to me,
Yeah.
actually all of them, they always come with their parents. It's the parents who contact the lawyers, right?
Alright,
So when the parents come, I will hear them together, but I will always ask to speak with the youth or the child directly, the youth directly, because I feel that sometimes they feel inhibited with their parents around, like I can't really say certain things, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So there was one case that I did, a drug consumption case. This boy was 17 years old. He came to see me with his parents, pakai school uniform.
Aduh.
He looks so young. Even though he's 17, he looked like he was 14 or 13. So I thought I was like, where's the boy? I thought that's the adik ke apa.
Okay.
He said, okay, that's him. And then throughout the time that I was speaking with them, I think the father lah, of course, rightfully so, the parents were concerned, and then without meaning to, they kind of dominated the conversation. So he barely spoke.
Okay.
So after then, I realized that. So I heard the parents out and all. Then I said, can I speak to him first? I want to speak with him. So I was curious also, because if you were to look at the boy, he looks so innocent,
so sweet.
not to say he's not innocent, but I would never have guessed if
That
I would
he's a
see.
drug offender.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I asked him, I said, why? What made you decide to consume drugs? Like, what made you decide? So he said, he worked a part-time job, and then he got influenced by some peers lah. And then he bought some drugs online. I can't remember if it's methamphetamine, which is ice, or dimorphin, which is heroin. I can't remember which one of it. So he bought it very frequently lah. So I was like, didn't you think at some point somebody would find out, right?
And you mentioned he bought it online.
He bought it online. I say, okay, he met somebody online, and then later they transacted Like
Physically?
quite, physically,
Oh my
quite.
God.
I think physically, quite frequently.
Okay.
So I asked him. I said, Why? What made you do it? Like, because I could see the parents. They were very committed parents. They were very. So I said, didn't you think that you will get caught, or worse? Okay, not worse, but didn't you think that you'll get caught or addicted because you just kept thinking? And his answer surprised me. His answer was something along the lines of, I thought that if I got addicted, I just check myself into rehab. That's what he said.
Try to make me go to
And then-
rehab.
And I was so surprised. I was like, huh? Then I said, what do you mean by that? Then okay, so for the uninitiated, there's a drug rehabilitation center in Singapore for adults, okay? But it's meant to be, I mean, it's still like a very structured environment, right? But it's more rehabilitative. So if you are arrested for drugs and all consumption, if it's only consumption and you have the law sees that you don't have any other charges, like you may go into this DRC.
Okay,
Okay, but it's not like you check in like it's
Macam hotel gitu
Yeah.
lah.
Let me check myself into rehab.
yeah. So that's when it occurred to me that this boy may not have been very informed. He clearly
Follow
had
the Western.
misconceptions of
Macam dia ikut sangat lah TV show
maybe
Western.
what he saw. Yeah, what he saw.
Because like certain celebrities, they will come out on tabloids. Celebrity A checked themselves into rehab, and then everyone
Correct.
like,
So again, it boils down to misinformation, which is why it's important to have conversations with your children so they can tell you all these things, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, you know.
How it was in Singapore.
Because in
Yeah.
Singapore, there's no such thing as checking in. You have to go through the whole process of, of course, getting arrested and then go for a court hearing and things like that, lah kan? Yeah. So it's kids.
Interesting,
Don't believe so much of Western ideology. Kita kat Singapore, kita bukan kat US. Okay,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, that is a very interesting story.
Kan?
Check
Wow.
myself into rehab.
Well, I mean, it's very common to hear children, especially the younger generation nowadays, to be very heavily influenced
Western
by
media.
the Western media.
Yes.
And of course, if it's a good thing to be influenced, carry on. But certain things like this, it really that's where us as parents
We
in
need to step in lah.
Singapore, we really have to step in and have to nip it in the bud lah.
Nip it in the bud, correct.
as soon as possible. Not to say you control them 100%. Allow them. Okay, maybe as a parent, if now that you have a child of 5 years old,
Growing child.
child. So with everything that you've shared, maybe what is your advice
For parents out there.
especially like coming from yourself as a mother?
Like I said earlier, be very, very mindful of your children's activities, monitor them. Don't stifle them to the point that they don't want to talk to you. But do be aware of who their friends are, what their activities are, because and do watch out for change in their behavior, personalities, and if you see a drastic change, something somewhere, there's always it shows there are telltale signs, right? So for example, if your child is suddenly very secretive or suddenly involved in gang-related activities, the way their mannerisms, their whereabouts, where they go out, what time, that can be an indication. Or if you take drugs, like that boy who took drugs, his parents said that they noticed that he looked very
Pale.
he was very pale and very tired. So not to say just because your kid's tired means your kid's taking drugs,
but
like
a lot of different
just
You
there
can
are
tell the
factors.
difference, right?
And you would be able to tell the difference if you've always been connected to them.
Yes, that is the key factor here.
Wow.
Which is, if let's say all the while you don't know how your child, especially
He's
those who in the school, you like really dah makan, okay, then you go on about doing your own things. So that is where once again kita break the cycle. The involvement of parents for those who especially talking about the complete families lah. For those parents who are in this situation, you have a child. The importance of having that relationship with them, knowing their behavior, knowing their characteristics is I won't say it as like macam you are controlling them, no. But it's more of you can tell when there's a slight difference. Be it, not just talking about criminal offences and all that, but also whether on their mental state, their coping mechanism in school and things like that. Because ultimately, these are children of the future.
Yes.
And if we don't put in effort to molding our own flesh and blood, then what do you expect them to be?
Because the children now will be the adults of the future.
Yeah,
It's true.
So please, we don't have children yet. So please make sure our future generation is healthy
Inshallah,
for all of us. Okay.
This episode is just to inform or bring about awareness
With
about
examples.
these are real life existing youth
Scary examples.
crimes that are happening in Singapore. So I think the thing that we want to sampaikan is really just as parents we need to be vigilant lah.
Yes.
Yes. So thank
Be
you.
like the policeman. Shoplifting is a crime.
But we
That's
would
just
like
fun.
to thank Shez for coming today and sharing your experience and your
Yeah,
expertise with
mashallah.
us. It's really macam opens up my perspective lah. On like I know there are things that I need to know before.
There are things I need to know. So many no.
I know there are things I need to prepare myself as a as a mother. But this is another thing that I think I should know lah.
Banyak. Yeah, at the same time also, I think not just for us, but also for our fellow insiders also,
Yes.
especially parents. The world is changing. The world is ever changing.
Yep.
But one thing remains constant, and that is the law.
Even the law changes.
Even the law changes. Yeah. So that's the thing. We need to always be mindful. Okay, guys. If you have followed us from the start, we always talk about communication, talk about open relationships with, our children, our parents. Even we try to foster this healthy relationship as much as we can, so that we can all together avoid such negative impacts should they occur in a lifetime lah. I mean, we don't know who they mix with, so be like good old Farah.
I quite is it?
Quite, very quiet lah. Sometimes too quiet. But yeah, please guys, I really urge you guys to really break the cycle if you can. Right?
So thank you. Maybe Shez can share your socials or whatnot. So if there's anyone out there who is in need of any legal advice, they can perhaps
If they
come
want to ask
to
more
you.
from you. Yeah.
You can follow us on our Instagram page, Shehzadee Law.
Farah will put it here.
Shehzadee Law.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
call us at 9126-3202.
Ah,
We offer free consultations.
okay. I shall call my mum. I'm just kidding.
But also don't forget, if you nak upgrade rumah,
For law, find Shehzadee.
Yes.
For property, find who? Sri Kandi Associates.
You can
How do
call
you call
them
them?
at 87883559.
Yes. And don't forget to follow them on Instagram juga at srikandi.associates.
Sri
Okay?
Kandi selling solutions,
Not promises. We have come to the end of another episode of Outside In.
If you like what you hear, please follow us on all our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube.
Share it with all of your friends and family members so that they can benefit from this episode, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Till the next one, Assalamualaikum.
Wassalam.